Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Listen to Talk English podcast.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here again.
I'm Luna, and with me, as always, is Roy.
Hello.
Today, we have a very interesting topic for all of you who are learning English. We are going to talk about something many learners feel: nervousness.
Yes, that's right, Luna. Today's topic is, why do people feel nervous about speaking English?
It's a very common feeling, Roy. I remember when I was learning English, I felt nervous too.
Me too. Even though I speak English now, I remember feeling very shy and worried when I started.
So, let's talk about some of the reasons why people might feel this way. What do you think is one of the biggest reasons, Roy?
I think one big reason is the fear of making mistakes. People don't want to say something wrong.
That's a very good point. When we speak our own language, we don't usually think about making mistakes. But when we speak English, we might worry. Will people understand me if I say something wrong?
Exactly. And sometimes, people think that if they make a mistake, other people will laugh at them.
Yes, that's another fear. But you know what? Most people are very kind and understanding. If you make a small mistake, they will probably still understand you. And if they don't, they will usually just ask you to say it again.
That's true. I think most people who speak English know that it can be difficult to learn. They were learners once too.
Another reason people might feel nervous is because they are worried about their pronunciation.
Oh yes, pronunciation can be tricky. Some English sounds are very different from the sounds in other languages.
That's right. And people might feel embarrassed if they think their pronunciation isn't perfect.
But perfect pronunciation isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is to be able to communicate, to make other people understand what you want to say.
I agree. Even native English speakers have different accents. Someone from New York might sound different from someone from London or someone from Sydney.
That's a good point, Luna. So, it's okay if your pronunciation isn't exactly like someone from England or America. As long as people can understand you, that's what matters.
Another reason for nervousness could be a lack of confidence. People might think, my English isn't good enough.
Yes, that's a common feeling. Sometimes, when we are learning, we focus on all the things we don't know yet,
instead of focusing on how much we have already learned. That's so important to remember. If you can understand this podcast, you already know a lot of English.
That's right. And every time you speak, even if it's just a little bit, you are getting better. Confidence comes from practice.
Another thing that can make people nervous is being shy. Some people are just naturally quiet and don't like speaking in front of others, even in their own language.
That's true. And speaking in a new language can make that shyness even stronger.
But it's important to remember that everyone feels shy sometimes. And the more you practice speaking, the easier it will become.
Maybe people also feel nervous because they think they don't know enough words.
Yes, vocabulary is very important. If you don't know the words you need, it can be hard to express yourself.
But learning a language is a journey. You don't need to know every single word in English to start speaking.
That's right. Start with the words you know, and learn new words as you go. There are so many ways to learn new vocabulary. You can read books, watch movies, listen to music, or use language learning apps.
And don't be afraid to ask people what a word means if you don't know it. Most people are happy to help.
Another reason for nervousness could be the feeling of pressure. Sometimes, people feel like they need to speak perfectly and fluently right away.
Yes, that's not realistic. Learning a language takes time and effort. It's like learning to play a musical instrument or learning a new sport. You need to practice.
Exactly. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just try to communicate as best as you can.
Maybe some people also feel nervous because they compare themselves to others. They might see someone who speaks English very well and think, I will never be that good.
That's a dangerous trap. Everyone learns at their own pace. It's not helpful to compare yourself to others. Instead, focus on your own progress. Celebrate every small step you take.
That's great advice, Luna. It's important to be kind to yourself when you are learning.
Another thing that might make people nervous is having had a bad experience in the past. Maybe someone laughed at them when they tried to speak English before.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry if anyone has had that experience. That's not okay.
No, it's not. And if that has happened to you, please remember that that person was not kind. Most people are much more supportive. Don't let one bad experience stop you from learning and speaking English.
Absolutely. And if you ever feel nervous, try to remember why you are learning English in the first place. What are your goals?
That's a good question, Roy. Maybe people want to travel, or study, or get a better job. Keeping your goals in mind can help you stay motivated and overcome your nervousness.
Another thing that can make people nervous is the fear of not being understood. Sometimes, even if you know the words, it can be hard to put them together in the right way.
That's true. Grammar can be challenging. But remember, even if your grammar isn't perfect, people will usually still understand the main idea of what you are trying to say.
And as you practice more, your grammar will improve. There are lots of resources available to help you with grammar, like textbooks, websites, and language learning apps.
Sometimes cultural differences in communication can also make people nervous. For example, in some cultures, it's considered rude to interrupt someone, while in other cultures, it's more common.
That's an interesting point, Luna. Understanding these cultural differences can definitely help you feel more confident when speaking English with people from different backgrounds.
And finally, sometimes people feel nervous simply because they are being put on the spot. If someone suddenly asks you a question in English and you weren't expecting it, it can be a bit scary.
Yes, that can happen. But remember, it's okay to take a moment to think before you answer. You can even say, "Can you please repeat that?" or "Let me think for a moment."
So, we've talked about a lot of reasons why people might feel nervous about speaking English. Fear of making mistakes, worrying about pronunciation, lack of confidence, shyness, not knowing enough words, feeling pressure, comparing yourself to others, bad past experiences, cultural differences, and being put on the spot.
That's quite a list, Luna, but what can people do to feel less nervous? Do you have any tips?
Yes, I have a few. First of all, remember that it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they are learning. Mistakes are actually a good thing because they help you learn.
That's right. Think of mistakes as learning opportunities.
Second, practice as much as you can. The more you speak English, the more comfortable you will become. You can practice with friends, with a language partner, or even by talking to yourself in English.
There are also many online communities and language exchange websites where you can find people to practice with.
Third, focus on communication, not perfection. The goal is to make yourself understood. Don't worry too much about every single word being perfect.
That's a great point. Sometimes just trying to get your message across is the most important thing.
Fourth, be kind to yourself. Learning a language takes time and effort. Don't get discouraged if you don't see progress right away. Celebrate every small achievement.
And remember why you started learning English in the first place. Keep your goals in mind and use them as motivation.
Fifth, try to relax and have fun. Learning a language should be an enjoyable experience. Watch English movies, listen to English music, read English books that you find interesting.
And don't be afraid to laugh at yourself if you make a funny mistake. It happens to everyone.
Sixth, find a supportive learning environment. Surround yourself with people who encourage you and make you feel comfortable speaking English.
Maybe join an English conversation group or find a tutor who is patient and understanding.
Seventh, Prepare for situations where you know you will need to speak English. For example, if you are going to a restaurant, you can practice some basic phrases beforehand.
That's a good idea. It can help you feel more confident if you have some phrases ready.
And finally, remember that everyone feels nervous sometimes. It's a normal feeling. The important thing is not to let your nervousness stop you from speaking English.
That's excellent advice, Luna. I think these tips will be very helpful for our listeners.
I hope so too, Roy. It's important to remember that learning a language is a journey, and it's okay to feel nervous along the way. But with practice and a positive attitude, everyone can become a confident English speaker.
Absolutely. And we are here to help you on that journey.
Yes, that's why we created this podcast. We want to make learning English fun and accessible for everyone.
So don't be afraid to speak English. Embrace the challenge, and remember that every mistake is a step forward.
That's a perfect way to end our discussion today, Roy. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Luna. It was a great topic.
And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to Listen to Talk, English podcast. We hope you found this episode helpful.
If you enjoyed this discussion, please remember to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future episodes.
And we would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and tell us, why do you sometimes feel nervous about speaking English? What helps you to feel more confident?
We read all of your comments and we love hearing your experiences.
Until next time, happy learning.
Goodbye, everyone.